All right, what's up, everybody? So, I was just thinking about something I could talk about, something that I feel like I just wanted to kind of put out there, just to try to see what other people, what their top 10 may be. And something that I'm very passionate about, something that I do love and enjoy a lot is video games. So, I've had a few thoughts in the past where about, oh, what is going to be my top 10? Like, what would be my top 10 video games of all time? Because there's so many different games I've played, but there's a lot of them that are like hit or misses. Some of them that are good, but not nothing everlasting. And then you have those ones that just stick with you forever. So I wanted to talk about what my top 10 video games would be. So from 10 to 1, we'll talk about what my top 10 is. Number 10 is Sega GT 2002. Sega GT 2002 is a 2002 racing game that came out on the original Xbox. It was one of the launch games alongside Jet Set Radio Future, which is also on this list. And for me, it's probably the only like racing game that's not Crash or Mario Kart or whatever that I actually cared about, took seriously, and put time in terms of playing it. Me and my brother used to play it a lot with our Xbox, and it had one of the best soundtracks ever, in my opinion, and it's just definitely something that I felt like was worth cracking top 10, if not top 15. But yeah, Sega GT 2002 was a fun racing game. And even though I haven't ever really truly delved into like other racing games, it's probably better. To me, that's the one for me. So yeah, Sega GT 2002 at number 10. Number 9, we have Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Gauntlet Dark Legacy. I know I kind of said it kind of weird, but that's a game that came out in 2000. It was a game that we played on the original Xbox. And it's like a kind of old medieval type of like hack and slash game. And it was very fun. My first introduction to the Gauntlet games was called Gauntlet Legends. My brother had it, and whenever we'd go to his house, that was one of the games he had, and I just kind of remember playing it briefly. And I had this huge infatuation with swords, so obviously I picked the knight or whoever the character was that had the swords, and yeah, that was fun to me. But we eventually got the Gauntlet Dark Legacy, which is far superior, and that's easily one of my favorite games of all time because it was just fun. And the memories of playing it with my brother, going through the ringer with all the characters and leveling them up and going through all the bosses and challenges and stuff, the fire soundtrack, even the brief moments when my dad was playing it, is definitely something that made the original Xbox just such an elite console, and gaming in general as elite as it probably got in that period. So yeah, number 9 for Gauntlet Dark Legacy. For number 8, I got Resident Evil 2 Remake that came out in 2019 as number 8. As a kid, I was a very scary kid, obviously, you know what I'm saying? A lot of things that I felt like that probably shouldn't really scare anybody was kind of scaring me or freaking me out, making me look over my shoulder. But as I get older and older, that starts to go away, and I start, man, this ain't scary. So, more chill with a lot of those things. But playing Resident Evil was very fun. I found myself being able to really kind of like connect with the characters, Leon, Jill, Chris, Claire, Ada Wong, Albert Wesker, so on and so forth. It's just a very amazing game. And I'm not gonna sit here and say I played every single Resident Evil game there is to play, but I played all the important ones, minus like 7 or whatever. And I gotta say that I started playing Resident Evil 2 because they finally got it on the PS5, on the PlayStation Pro, whatever it is. Not PlayStation Pro, whatever the little thing is where you can play at the old game. But I never finished the second one. I only played like one scenario, Leon scenario A, finished that. And it's fun, but to me the remake is just better in my opinion. Just in terms of like the accessibility of playing it, controlling the characters and all that kind of stuff, obviously graphics and stuff like that. But I've played that game so many times. Like I forgot how many times I sat there and just kept playing and going back and forth between Leon A and B, Claire A and B, playing with Sherry's portion of the story, which I don't like. Had to deal with Ada's portion of the story, which sometimes was smooth and sometimes wasn't for whatever reason. But overall, I love Resident Evil, and I definitely love Resident Evil 2 Remake, so that's number 8. And with that being said, we go into number 7, which is Resident Evil 4. To me, Resident Evil 4 is the pinnacle Resident Evil game, and the only game that I would say would top that would be Resident Evil 2. But in this case, I'm talking about Resident Evil 4, 2005, so we're talking about the original. I could have inter swapped this for the remake, and I wanted the remake to be on there too, but I didn't want it to be overlapped with Resident Evil games. And when it's all said and done, Resident Evil 4 just would really help me like deepen my love for the series, deepen my love for the character of Leon S. Kennedy, which is easily one of the best video game protagonists of all time. And somehow by me saying that, I realized a game that I should have put on here that I didn't, which was The Witcher 3. Yeah, I fumbled. Maybe Sega GT 2002 would be bumped down to top 15 in place of The Witcher 3 because that's an awesome game. I love that game so much. I haven't played it in years, but it's definitely a prolific game in my life. But who knows? The list might change sometime down the line. But for now, like I said, so number 7, Resident Evil 4, classic. So then we got number 6. Number 6 is 2011's Batman Arkham City. I love Batman, and sometime in that period of like the early 2010s, right? I was living with my dad and everything because he was also big on like Superman and Batman and stuff like that. I fell in love with Batman, a character who I never ever truly really was in love with like that before. Like I liked Batman, but I didn't care. Like, Spider-Man was my guy really, and Superman was just whatever. He was just the strong Batman in my opinion as a kid, but from that point on, from the 2010s on to now, Batman has become my favorite superhero of all time. I love him to death. He's amazing. He's badass. He's cool. He kicks ass. He's just awesome. And to me, there's no better superhero game or Batman game than Arkham City. Arkham City was everything that Arkham Asylum was, but 100 times better. And even though Knight surpassed it in terms of graphics and kind of having like a little bit more of like a grittier, serious kind of like story, going to the end of Bruce Wayne and Batman, it still doesn't top City. City just had everything. It had the music. It just had the expansive maps and everything, being able to glide in the city versus just gliding on top of a scene on inside of a building. And it was just so much better. And the music and everything is just so iconic. You just can't beat it. In my opinion, that's the standard, that's the blueprint, that's the legit GOAT of superhero beat 'em up games or whatever. So yeah, at number 6, we got Batman Arkham City. So now we're into our top 5, the most prolific, most amazing, untouchable games in my life personally, with the top 5. And at number 5, we have Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 that came out in 2007. Dragon Ball is probably my favorite thing ever, like in terms of like a form of like media entertainment pertaining to like a comic or a video game or TV show or anything like that. Dragon Ball is my thing. It always was and always will be. And I always say that's one of the greatest gifts that my father gave me and my brother, was introducing us to Dragon Ball. And Dragon Ball helped open the door to so many other things. It helped expand on learning about Street Fighter and Tekken and Mortal Kombat and Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Jet Li, and like, what I'm saying? But Dragon Ball is just that series that can't be taught. I don't care what anime comes out, they got better writing, better characters or better whatever, right? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Dragon Ball is still the GOAT in my opinion. Goku is the GOAT protagonist. Frieza is probably the GOAT villain. But yeah, Budokai Tenkaichi 3 was like everything that needed to be in a Dragon Ball game. Obviously, not 100%, but probably closer than any other game has ever came before or since. And to this day, with the disappointment of Sparking Zero, Budokai Tenkaichi 3 still reigns supreme as the ultimate Dragon Ball game experience and easily one of my favorites. Playing it, for Christmas, my brother got it, and me and my other brothers, we all was there together, playing it, going through the story and finding each other and going through the tournaments and stuff. It just was a time to be alive as a kid, his preteen to like, early teen years. And it just was just awesome to be able to experience something like that. The 2000s really brought heat with gaming, and this was definitely one of them in 2007. So yeah, number 5, Budokai Tenkaichi 3. So now we have number 4, 2005's Dynasty Warriors 5. I chose Dynasty Warriors 5 specifically because to me, that's like the pinnacle game of the series. Like, I never played 1, 2, or 3. I know a lot of people, 3 was their gateway into the franchise, and that's cool. To me and my brother was introduced to Dynasty Warriors 4, and we never played it right. We was weird kids playing it. Like, we just cared about creating like the little privates and all that kind of stuff. Because in that game, I think you can create characters and stuff, kind of. And you give them a name or whatever, you get a little horse, and you just worry about the horse. And you sitting there feeding the horse. A war's going on, and we over there worrying about feeding our horse and stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? But the first time we really truly got into the game and played it right and started to know about the characters and the lore was Dynasty Warriors 5. And boy, when I tell you, from just playing the story, you know what I'm saying, selecting your character, doing the different kind of combos, getting the orbs and the weapons and all this kind of stuff, unlocking different horses. Again, that was a time to be alive, and can't nobody from 2010s to 2020s or beyond can tell anybody from like the 2000s, the 90s, whatever, about video games. We had the best, and that just is what it is. But Dynasty Warriors 5 is one of the most peak hack and slash games you could ever get. And I loved 6. I loved 8, you know, but 5 is just the one, and it always will be. And I'm pretty sure my brother agrees. But yeah, so at number 4, we got Dynasty Warriors 5. All right, top 3. This is also something that kind of changed, but I figured out that it had to be this way most definitively. And at number 3, we have Street Fighter EX2 Plus. It came out in 1998. I know it's more of like an obscure type of like Street Fighter game because it's not a mainline Street Fighter game. It's like a little collab crossover type of like game that Capcom did with ex-Capcom members who formed Arika. But that's my Street Fighter 2. For me and my brother, that's our Street Fighter 2. That's our introduction, our true introduction to fighting games, is our introduction to Street Fighter. And even though I can say that some of the mechanics and things don't age as well as I would hope, it's still something that I can pick up and play. Me and Bro can still play it. It's very fun and enjoyable. You just can't beat it. Like, it's just, and bro, the music, one of the best soundtracks of any game, period, will come from Street Fighter EX2 Plus. They cooked and then some, right? When they was making the music for that game. It just was awesome. You got a lot of the characters from Street Fighter 2 that you come to know and love, but you also got these new characters, original from Arika, and they fit so well. I like a lot of them even more so than some of the mainline Street Fighter characters, personally. But Street Fighter EX2 Plus is the definitive game. I don't care about if you play Street Fighter EX3. I feel like you should play EX Plus Alpha because that's a solid game too, even though I didn't actually really play that one. But EX2 Plus is the game to go. So, you know, easily, you know what I'm saying, number 3. It's fire, it's fun. The characters sound wacky, but hey, it's nostalgic, but it's also peak in my opinion. So then we go on to number 2. And at number 2, we have Crash Bash 2000. Crash Bash, the year 2000. Crash Bash is a party game of the Crash Bandicoot property. And it's a little party game that features 8 characters. It has really great music, one of the great soundtracks of all time in my opinion as well. It starts the decade of the 2000s off solid because, you know, it's just fun. It's like, to me, that's the best Crash Bash game you can play. I mean, Crash Bandicoot game you can play. Like, obviously the classic Crash trilogy is fun. Crash Team Racings and all that stuff is also really fun game stuff too. Mind Over Mutant and Clash of the Titans or whatever it's called, those are we don't talk about those. Crash Insanity was great too. But Crash Bash is always going to be that game that was fun because it's 2 players. So me and my brother played so much. Like, before you can even track hours in, you know what I'm saying, gameplay, we put in, you know what I'm saying, years into that game. And it's one of the greatest gifts ever. A great introduction to the PlayStation with games like Crash Bash and Street Fighter EX2 Plus. And Tekken 2 was another one, but we didn't like Tekken 2 at first. It was scary and just didn't like it. We tried to like it, but we just couldn't. So yeah, number 2, Crash Bash all day. So then we have my definitive favorite and best game of all time, which in my opinion is Jet Set Radio Future, that came out in 2002. The other game that was part of the bundle or whatever when you get the Xbox, the classic Xbox. Jet Set Radio Future is just a game that just, in a way, it kind of, like a lot of these games, it defines, you know what I'm saying, me and my brother a lot. It defines me a lot, even to this day. I'm 32 now. But that game was just, it was just something that was about it. It was just so cool. And you had all these different teenagers and going around skating on freaking skyscrapers and dragons and all kinds of, it was just so cool. Like, it's just, it's a game that you had to be there to know. I know some of these games are kind of obscure or not as popular amongst the general public, but who gives a shit? It's my top 10 and everybody else can have their top 10. But for me, Jet Set Radio Future is my favorite game of all time because it's a game that, even though we didn't have the longest amount of time with it, the time we had with it was still just some of the most legendary you ever get from a video game as a kid. And it's something that really helped define our childhood and define things that we were into. And the music, one of the best soundtracks of all time, undisputed. The characters are so likable, the designs, just the gameplay of being able to skate and grind on rails and do graffiti and stuff and going against the police. It was something so amazing. And I just hate that when Hurricane Katrina happened and we had to move, some of the stuff that we had, like that game and parts of the Xbox, was gone and we could just never get it back. So it's a game that we never got back and it sucks, but the memories and the legacy of it continues. And one day I'm definitely going to try to get my hands on a classic Xbox and get that game just so me and my brother can relive those moments. But yeah, that's my top 10. So y'all let me know what y'all top 10 is. If y'all played video games, did y'all enjoy this video? If y'all did, please leave a like and a comment, subscribe. I'm trying to come up with like other kind of like video ideas. Like maybe I could do a top 10 like movies or TV shows or anime and stuff. Like I like a lot of different things. So yeah, y'all let me know what y'all would like to see me, you know, try to dive into or tackle. And we also can do reactions too if y'all want to see reactions, because I kind of want to do that too. But that's gonna be it for this video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. See y'all next time.